Network. We're missing Joe, but we got Migdalia back.
Woo!
Insert sound effect here.
Wah,
Yeah.
Woo!
Wow, please.
The crowd is going wild. Welcome back.
Thank you,
This
Daniel.
is huge. This is huge because you've been gone for a bit.
Yes.
You know, and
A month and a half.
THS has been missing its Beyonce, so it's glad that we got you back.
She was
you know?
stranded on those
You know?
Bahama Islands.
Yeah,
for that
I know,
Fire
right?
Festival
But
for
I'm the
2
Beyonce
years.
that does not get with Jay-Z.
Well, yeah, okay, that's understandable. I mean, there is no Jay-Z here, so it's perfectly fine. It's just you're gonna be the queen bee, you know, on your own. It's fine,
Okay.
perfectly okay. Hello, Jezzer.
Oh, hey man, how's it going? I was gonna last week.
Hello.
You guys are holding down on the Ranger show.
Well, we
with the
tried.
Toku
We
kid?
tried.
Yeah.
We tried. Without you, it was kind of hard and bumpy
you
at
didn't.
moments.
Without
you know?
Joe, you mean?
Yeah. Well, it was kind of tough and bumpy
Yeah.
without you. But
You
we're
guys
glad,
are good.
We're glad we got
If you guys want
here.
to watch it, because they have
Yeah.
some good, some good topics.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah,
Oh
we
my
did. We
gosh.
kept some stuff down, and you guys can just check that out. You know, but it's even though Power Rangers are superheroes, we're here to talk about more of the more known
Superheroes, yeah.
One, for example, is once again that lady right there. You've been gone for a bit, so we got to catch you up. We got to
Yes.
see what's going on with you.
What's going on at that hashtag
Well,
show?
no. What's going on with you, actually? I heard right now.
Oh, okay.
Big news. If you guys didn't know, you're a producer and you got nominated for. You got 4 nominations.
Not personally. So
Well,
the
the
film,
film.
yeah, the film got selected into 4 film festivals within a month, and we're slowly, applying to more. But my goal is to get to South by Southwest 2020.
Ooh.
That's the film festival I really, really want to get into.
awesome.
Oh my
Not
God.
Sundance, South by Southwest.
Yeah, you want to go to South by Southwest so you
Yes.
can enjoy all the food and everything else that happens here.
The tech, the
concerts.
music, yeah.
Tech music.
Not tech music,
Oh, okay.
the music.
Yeah, not
So they
tech
have
music.
tech,
Okay,
and then they
okay.
have the
Not
music
tech music,
part
not
in the
tech
film.
I was like, tech music. Okay, no, not bad. Not bad.
on your
But
little.
thank you, Daniel. You're like one of my biggest.
I am. I'm a supporter. I love everything to do with hashtag and everybody that's part of it. So
On
that's
your
why I
little
mentioned
hiatus, have you been keeping up with all the Marvel news and the DC news and everything that's been going on?
Not really. I usually, when I go back home, it's funny, I go off the grid. Like, I can't keep up. So, I just got back into town last week. I also was dealing with a month-long case of bronchitis.
Oh.
That was really, really bad. So I'm just getting back into the groove of things here. Happy to be back with all of you, lovely faces. Someone over here just called me Tatiana. That's not me.
No.
What?
Tatiana
No,
has
that's not.
definitely changed. That's, wow.
And that's from Edward Sanchez,
Oh.
who knows me from way back
Wow,
when.
Edward
So,
Sanchez, that is
Edward,
not approved.
Wow.
first person on my shit list
Wow,
for
exactly.
2019.
I'm sorry, man.
Welcome
What's
to the
going
club.
on? What's going on,
Toku
man?
Kid says,
Oh.
"Hey, Miggy, aka the person who dies in seconds and Dead by Daylight."
Okay.
What?
Toku
Oh,
Kid,
wow.
come show your
Toku.
Oh yeah,
face.
your Twitch stream.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just went back to twitching last night, which was fun. I was playing Lego Harry Potter.
Okay, all right, not bad. Do you have what system do you have?
PS4.
So why are you not playing Spider-Man?
I
didn't
couldn't
like
get
it.
into it. I
What is
didn't
wrong with
like.
you?
Spider-Man's
I didn't
fun.
like all these nameless villain people, henchmen that were for some reason stronger than Spider-Man.
Like
Ah.
who? Like who?
Like those little fight people guys.
I like all the people. Yeah, like
kept
the
getting my
people who-
ass beat.
Like the big brawlers.
It's just
Yeah.
you're not a spider person.
It's
You're
fine, though.
not skilled yet. You gotta learn.
But I
how to
always
get
see
skilled.
you playing that game.
Heck yeah, you know, you see me on there, boom, 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 I'm on there all the time, man. I love that
Damn.
game so much. I need to go back and play like Batman or something else, but you know, that's still something. But
Yes.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. The chat's getting pretty active right now.
Yes.
Good.
If you have any other friends or family members that enjoy like superhero stuff, share the stream out so we can have new faces come in.
Yeah, like do it right now.
Yeah,
just,
right
you're
now.
watching this, just go
Tweet
ahead
that,
and
Insta that,
hey, what are you doing
snap
right now?
that.
You want to know some stuff about superhero stuff? Oh, check this out right now. Just send them a link. And if you're standing next to them and maybe they're not paying attention, kind of grab their phone, just go on there, like, comment, share, subscribe.
Jezzer
Do it
and
that way,
Sam know all
you know?
about that.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
there you go. There you go.
So let's get into the first topic. We're talking about the MCU after Endgame.
Okay.
How excited are you guys for Endgame?
Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Because
I'm
my
nervous.
answer's a little more
I'm
lackluster.
nervous. I'm nervous about Endgame, honestly, because Marvel has done so much, and we've been building up to this point. The thing is, will it be just as big as we're hoping, or is it going to be a letdown in some ways?
Yes.
There's stuff that everyone else is seeing, and we're already figuring out, oh, well, this is this.
Yeah.
This is that. This is this. Oh, I know what's going to happen here. If we happen to know everything that's going to happen, what's going to be the big surprise?
Yeah.
What's going to be the big
I'm
draw?
sure there's going to be a few surprises.
Right.
Last week you guys talked about the possibility that Captain Marvel can time travel, does that kind of throw everything off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that
Butterfly effect, baby.
Do you think that's like? Do you think that's like a cop out
always
for
a
them?
butterfly
Dude,
effect.
that's a Deus Ex Machina of everything. It's like when I write myself into a corner, what can I do? Time travel. Boom!
Yeah.
It takes care of everything.
But earlier on, we
That's
saw.
comics.
Yeah.
That's comics.
That is comic. No, and that's true. And I've got to think of it that way. It's like
Yeah.
great, even though we've had a great ride with so many different characters. Once again, it's still based in comics.
Yes,
What do you
yes.
expect to happen?
But I mean, really, when you saw some of the heroes kind of get dusted, you had Spider-Man, you had Black Panther get dusted, and once you showed that, then you already knew that, the end of Infinity War wasn't solidified. The timeline wasn't solidified.
Very true.
So you guys, you're not excited for Endgame.
I mean, I'm not like, oh, I can't wait for this movie to come out. I can wait. I mean, we know that, and we knew this all along. Black Panther. No, none of these characters are going to stay dead. Some of them might. I think there will be a butterfly effect. Maybe Tony Stark gets stuck in another alternate universe and doesn't exist or survive in the timeline they're going to end up in. I'm not sure how that happens.
You know what? That's very interesting because you have been gone for a bit. You usually do have very good theories.
Oh, okay.
If we can pick your brain for a bit,
Okay.
and actually get what your theories are, or what do you think
Yes,
is going to happen, where people are going to be. Yeah.
How would this end?
I don't.
Game. How would this end? No,
I
that's
see what you did
terrible.
there.
That's
I see what you
terrible.
did
How
there.
would this end the game?
I didn't say it was good. I saw it was good. There. Actually, you know what? I like
I don't know. I think somebody's going to get stuck in some type of timeline, and it's either going to be Tony or it's going to be Steve because the actors' contracts are running out, all of them.
Okay.
Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans.
But do you
Contracts are
think
done.
they may be holding on to the news of them like extending their contracts till after the movie is
No.
done? No.
No, that would have leaked already. And Chris Evans also put out that tweet like, "It's been great. It's been a great ride."
yeah,
and
that's
he's
right.
been kind of trying to get out of this role for a while now. Obviously, so he's done, I think, and also Chris Hemsworth is done. But we know Scarlett Johansson's going to stick around.
Yeah, they're actually gonna start her movie
Black
soon.
Widow,
Yeah.
like in
Wow.
March, I
Yeah.
think.
Too late, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think Steve Rogers is gonna go back to like the 1920s and have his dance with Peggy, and that's gonna be the
40s.
The 40s, yeah.
And then he's
That'll
gonna-
be his like full circle story.
Oh, so that
What's
would be
gonna
like,
happen
he's going
to
to stay there and
Tony?
dance there with that.
Well, just last week they released the Far From Home trailer.
Yeah.
And in the little check that Happy brought in, it was signed by Pepper Potts.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were speculating whether or not like if Tony's still around, if like where Far From Home actually takes place in the timeline, if it's
Well, they confirmed it takes place after.
yeah, it says it takes place after, but what if like the first scene of the film is after, but then they go back to go to flashback.
Well, for one thing, Pepper runs the company.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Tony gave her the company,
Yeah.
but back in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
So that's not an indicator of anything.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a big speculation that Tony is gonna die, but we thought that was gonna happen during Infinity
Yes,
War.
and we got it got really close.
It did
It
get
got
really,
really
close. I was
close.
like, damn, here it is.
I was like,
I'm
it's happening
scared.
right in front of us. Like, yeah, I was like, this is the first death we'll see in front of us. But
But
nope.
of the two between Steve and Tony, it only makes sense that it'd be Tony. Like if Steve were to stick around for a little bit, people would still accept it. But it only makes sense that Tony has his little.
Well, because
farewell.
Tony is more mortal than Steve, I guess, in a sense. But I can't see a world without Tony Stark. I feel like they want to keep that door open just in case. It's the whole Hugh Jackman Wolverine thing. And I don't know if they're ready to close the door completely.
Is
on
it
Tony.
just because of his star power?
Yeah.
It's mainly because of star power. But with the acquisition of all the Fox properties, don't you think that they can pick someone else to carry that?
No. Who would?
Not-
Especially
not-
if Chris
not to-
Evans
not-
is leaving
Shuri.
as well.
Not to replace
Shuri.
Tony, but like
Shuri.
maybe
No,
No, but there needs to be a face of the franchise.
like maybe an X-Men or a Fantastic Four or Mr. Fantastic.
It depends who they cast.
Yeah.
They
Well,
have
I
to
mean-
have the same gravitas as Robert Downey Jr.
The thing is, they may just go for a whole thing where the future is feminine. We can have our female Thor. We can have our female Iron Man. If we wanted to do Shuri.
Yeah.
We can have and then we have Captain Marvel just rounding up and putting.
and
everything
that
together.
is becoming
She
a
could be the
trend.
face. Yeah,
that
she
is
could be the
becoming a
face.
trend.
She could be the face if it's good, if she's good. Like,
I
let's not
actually
try to
think her
pander
film-
to the female community
I
here
definitely
and just
no.
be like,
Well, and that was something we were talking about earlier. We talked about how is Marvel pandering in a lot of ways, with pushing to have Black Panther nominated for an Oscar, and then going for the whole switch into making a female character big and, you know, being a big draw. Like, is Marvel pandering? That's a question that people are always asking.
I don't think they're pandering. I think it's just overdue because they've done it in their comics. They have so many female-led comics, and this is just them being late in the game.
Maybe they're trying to catch up because Wonder Woman was such a success that they want to have that kind of
they're
impact.
Trying to cash in, man. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing.
But there is this trend of having full female teams, like we're talking about an Into the Spider-Verse spinoff with females, a spider team.
That's true.
And I know I like talking about Fast and Furious, but they're pushing forward with an all-female.
They are.
Yeah. So that is a possibility. But do you guys think it's pandering to women in general, or?
Well, I don't think it's pandering. I think it's just in the direct. I don't feel like we should be pushing Brie Larson in at the forefront before we even see Captain Marvel. I mean, we don't know how good that movie is or how good she's gonna be. Mm-hmm. I'm not like the biggest fan. I'm not really anticipating that film, so we'll have to see. But it was also my same reaction with Chris Evans and Captain America.
Very
and
true.
And now he's just like,
still to this day,
snack.
like when it comes to snack.
Which I have to say, I'm very disappointed that Cap Beard has been taken away.
Jeez. Yeah. You were like,
oh my God,
I need the Cap Beard. Now take off your shirt and be burly with hair on the chest.
Has been taken by the snap.
Oh, well, I mean, hey, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, so after Endgame, we have Spider-Man in July.
Right.
We have Black Widow in May of 2020.
Boy, that seems so rushed.
I forgot that Jake Gyllenhaal had been cast in this movie, so when he appeared at the end, I was like,
what'd you think about that? About him, like, where they're kind of like depicting him more as a hero, Mysterio being the hero.
Well, number one, I don't think he's going to be Batman now, and number two, no, I'm just saying, because he's locked up in that contract. Right. And number two...
It depends if he dies in the movie. Who knows?
No,
I don't think he's going to die.
Come on. Not gonna die. We all know exactly what's happening. It's just like the original story
Sinister
Mysterio.
Six.
Yeah, it's the original story Mysterio. He shows up, and he tries to say he's a good guy, blah, blah, blah. He creates these villains and has to fight them, etc., etc. But I hope he does not die. Mm-hmm. I need him to continue because, we need that Sinister Six.
Imagine him, like, being on screen with, like, Michael Keaton. You know,
that's what I'm like. That's
huge. Yes,
dude.
Yes.
Because Michael Keaton, like, I love that guy. They're like, there's a lot of talks like, oh, we should have Michael Keaton be like old Bruce in a Batman Beyond movie, or like that'd be perfect.
It would work. It would work.
But I liked it when I saw that. I was like, oh man, yeah.
And he looks
so good.
You don't want any of this.
I think Jake Gyllenhaal is very, very underrated as an actor, and just to see him in this role is very surprising because he's like one of those actors you wouldn't really expect to take a costume role.
Yeah. Well,
he was actually in talks to place. He was actually in talks.
He was in costume before.
Well, are you saying Prince of Persia?
You know, I'm just saying. No,
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he was supposed to be Spider-Man in Spider-Man 3.
And then
because
Wait,
he
what?
got hurt. Yeah, because
he was supposed to replace Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, because Tobey Maguire got hurt in that horse movie, and so we have Black Widow, which I'm not too excited about.
Which is supposed to be a prequel.
Yeah.
Which. See,
like,
you're not.
I'm not because we've seen so many movies like this already.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I have been waiting for Marvel to go full on espionage. We came close to it with Captain America,
Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
one of my favorite Marvel movies.
Have you seen the new trailer that someone put out for it, where they put the Mission Impossible music from the most recent Mission Impossible film with that? Yes. It is so good.
No,
I'll show it to you after. It is so good.
My dad does not like. He doesn't really enjoy these superhero movies, but I showed him that film. He's like, man, this is a superhero.
Sold.
Yeah,
and
he
I'm
loves
like,
it.
And I feel that we have that ability to do that, especially with her character. Mm-hmm. And then we'll even get a little bit. Hopefully, we would get a little bit of Clint.
Yes.
I would like that.
Clint and his family, maybe.
Yeah, giving a little bit more extension for that. How she met up with him. There are other characters that I would still like to do.
The audience is not like
because,
that.
Well, the thing is, no one likes Clint. Let's be honest.
I don't.
Even when he
I
showed
don't
up
like
and he's running
Hawkeye.
and he did his whole thing, and I was like.
Lame.
Everybody was like, woo! And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Did I miss something on the screen and no one
sauce.
else? I didn't care. But the thing is, it's like, you know what? I always thought, when I read the Matt Fraction, the comic book, it was like, yeah, This is what I would like to see. A guy is doing a little bit of espionage and blah, blah, still a little slice of life. So putting him in her film would be great for me. That's all. Just a little bit. So he can be against her in a way. Yeah. But besides that...
they're still going to make it, and people are still going to watch it. It's gonna do good.
We'll see if that will be the moment where Marvel's bubble bursts or still sustains. Yeah. That's what I say.
Like, honestly, after Spider-Man and Endgame, the movies that they have lined up, like the next one after that is The Eternals.
Which just reeks of Inhumans to me. Total fail. I think because Inhumans did stain this movie, and I'm very surprised that they're going to move forward with this.
Well, they have to. Yeah, they have to.
Honestly,
I'm surprised that they haven't started trying, or maybe they are. Maybe behind the scenes they're trying to work the X-Men and the Fantastic Four into the universe. They were also talking about that they're going to make another Deadpool. And they're pretty much
going to be Deadpool.
It's going to be Deadpool. Yeah.
Well, no, the way Ryan Reynolds is saying it, he was like, the next one isn't really going to be like a Deadpool. It's going to be more X-Force.
Yeah, X-Force, yeah.
Well, yeah, but even they're saying that's going to be canceled.
Yeah. Right.
Well, they're saying the last actual Fox movie is going to be New Mutants, and they're I even saw an article saying maybe going straight to Hulu because they can't. They've been pushing it so much that they're
New Mutants. I haven't seen anything since last spring.
I'm saying
you know what I saw. I saw an interview that this guy did.
The dates.
That's what I saw.
No, they've been pushing the date so far back that oh man. So the next biggest Fox one is going to be Dark Phoenix, which is going to be. I don't know. I'm not too excited about it, but
I honestly forgot.
Onslaught. You could have just did Onslaught.
Why not? That's the thing, right? Exactly. But then we probably would have had to do Legion and everything. I don't know if they wanted to do that.
Cassandra Nova. That is my favorite New Mutant storyline.
Oh, really?
That whole Cassandra Nova arc.
Yeah. Dark Phoenix. Do you guys like Sophie Turner as Jean Grey?
I do, but this storyline is so premature. You're supposed to care about Jean Grey and the character, and it's just, no.
I agree with that. I have not heard that argument, and I agree with that so much. That is true. It is way ahead of time.
Yeah.
We haven't built her up in anything as far as the
maybe 20 minutes worth of...
Why is the chat talking about Bubble Boy?
Because,
Jake Gyllenhaal
Jake Gyllenhaal
was Bubble Boy.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I do remember that.
I think the peanut gallery that we have here actually did something with it. Yeah, that's what I think. Is that what's going on, guys?
Sure.
You guys?
Bubble Boy was a costume.
Shut up! Yes,
so
that's exactly
going back to it, also in February, we're going to finally get our sequel to Black Panther 2.
Oh.
Yeah. Which they should, if it's supposed to come out, next year?
2021.
Oh, okay, so they're probably going to film, by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then Doctor Strange 2, which I don't agree with. I don't like.
Doctor Strange 2, no.
Doctor Strange was
Kevin Feige,
it was the Marvel film that dropped the ball for me.
But stop it.
It really wasn't great at all.
And then, farther down the list, Guardians Volume 3. But, that's still up in the air.
Dude, I thought they were going to go ahead and try to one with that other team, not the Starjammers, but the old Guardians with Sylvester Stallone and
that would have been. I would watch Guardians of the Galaxy with Sylvester Stallone leading the pack.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I don't understand.
Get Arnold in there, and you're making my '80s.
Just watch all the Expendables again. Just watch all the Expendables films.
Watch the Expendables and just add in.
Over. I need a new thing. That was my Batman and Superman matchup. Getting Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone on the screen together.
Okay.
All right, so moving on to the next topic.
But
there was some Avenger toys that got leaked. Go for it.
Hold on. But with this, because they haven't announced the slate for what Phase 4 would be, I think they're just going to go to individual stories at this point. I don't think they're going to keep in a giant universe.
Is that a good idea, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they're still going to do a giant universe, but
I feel like that's what DC's doing right now.
I think that's true.
And that's where DC excels.
Yeah.
DC should have figured out why do we want to have to
shared?
Why do we want to?
Well, did you enjoy Aquaman?
I didn't watch it.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Actually, it was good. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
I
heard. Okay, show though right now. Well, I mean, besides Young Justice, which I'm okay with. Titans.
Oh, Titans was except the last episode. That last episode was kind of weird.
That whole Batman
thing? Coming at me for Gotham. I haven't seen season 5 yet.
But speaking on Endgame, so Vietnam released, or like they leaked some toy images of the
Damn
new toys,
Vietnam.
and it pretty much confirmed a lot of what we were. It confirmed what we were talking about already.
Ooh.
Some of them are
messing us up.
some of them are repackaged. Like Iron Spider is repackaged, Black Panther is repackaged, but we see that.
It's
Thor has a new suit.
$399,000.
No, that equates to about $17.
Okay.
Yeah. You see, Thor has his new suit. Hulk has a suit. You know, it confirms that image that we've been showing the last few shows.
Wearing the quantum suits. That we
And
said before.
Tessa Thompson's going to be making an
man!
appearance, and that could also be a repackage.
It could just be repackaged.
Oh my
But
God! Look
Black
at these
Widow.
Black Widow has
they're
her
not
red.
designed
Black Widow has her
well.
red
Yep.
hair again.
Yep.
And then the guy that messed it up, Star-Lord for everybody. And Ronan. You really hate Ronan,
No one
don't
cares.
you?
No one
What
cares.
is this rocket rack? What it looks like ET up there.
Oh no, his head's just turned.
His head probably turned. But no, they are wearing the quantum suits.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people are once again seeing, and we've been talking about it, we've been discussing it since the images came out, where it's like, okay, so they're clearly going to have to go into the quantum realm.
Yeah.
That's why we know it's like, oh, quantum suits, quantum realm. Makes
Yeah.
sense. So that also goes along with the whole time travel theory and saying, yeah, well, that's what they're going to do. So with that, my thing is, yeah, we already knew. Is it too big news?
Now
but a lot of
it's
people are
how
still
it plays
pissed.
out.
Yeah,
Now
now a
how
lot
it
of people
plays
are
out.
pissed because it's just like, well, great, why do we have to see this? It's ruining everything. Nah, come on, man.
Yeah.
We're in a
Well-
nerd world. We love that stuff.
Like one of the biggest offenders of like the leak movie news is Lego. Lego always.
Oh, I thought it was us.
No, Lego always like releases the images of their boxes of the toys before anything happens. I remember before Civil War they had that huge Ant-Man. So like, oh, Giant Man's confirmed. It's like, oh man. So like the whole.
Really, that was like
That's
the deal breaker for you.
Yeah,
Like,
imagine if I didn't know, and then Giant Man came. I was like, "Oh my god!" It is. He's
Giant
freaking
Man.
like what? What did he say? 60 feet or
Yeah.
something?
I don't know.
30 feet. That was probably
Something
one
like
of
that.
the
I think he
coolest.
said like 60. I think he said 60 feet, and he was like,
What
oh.
do you guys think happened to Valkyrie on the ship? Like,
Her-
do you think she died?
No,
and
no,
then-
because they had said in Infinity War that a small ship had gotten away,
Mm-hmm.
and it's definitely her and Korg.
Yeah, because
Aw, Korg.
we're gonna need to have him back. He's like, I'm the director. I'm the director.
And unfortunately, your man didn't make it off the ship in
No,
time.
I saw that. I've had to
No,
see that
not
quite a few
unfortunately. The
times.
thing is, he had a beautiful warrior's death.
Yes, he
right
did.
on screen, and I feel that no one else could have given that level of gravitas out of the cast. Honestly, you're gonna
That's
tell me yes
true.
or no? Anyone else really had the chops versus what he did, and it was like, all right, I'm still gonna give it, even though I'm giving this ridiculous line. Here it comes, and it was like, damn.
The worst
Like, I felt
role.
it.
Worst
I felt
And
it.
then the kicker at the end of it is like, oh well, who's gonna open up the Rainbow Bridge now? Oh, we're just gonna give Thor a new hammer that
Yeah,
can do
right,
it.
exactly. That was it. That was it.
So
I was
he
like,
Heimdall was
so-
replaced by a hammer.
Heimdall's like looking down from Valhalla. You sons of bitches! I'm just pissed off. Like, I hope you all die. You know, like that would be it for me. I'm just like, I can't. I need it to rain on you every day.
What Rainbow Bridge? There's no Asgard.
Oh well, yeah.
There's no
but as far as
planets.
like
No,
him
to
being
get to
able
different
yeah.
to the different realms.
Different
You know,
realms.
even if
the
Asgard-
Bifrost.
Yeah.
What's that?
I don't know.
Was that your Aegis?
Handel prime line. I don't know. I can't
hopefully-
do
No,
it.
you sound like
Hopefully-
Thor.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know. I'm still excited for Endgame just to see how it wraps up.
Yeah,
Just to see
man,
how it
come
wraps
on.
up.
Why not? It's gonna be fun, no matter what, and it's gonna be great. It's
We
gonna
need to
be
start a
something that's like,
Deadpool
what?
for these characters, a new one.
do. Well-
Because we did for Infinity War, then we forgot.
Yeah.
Like when we met.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay.
yes. It'd be
That is
cool.
true.
Yeah, it would be
That
cool
is
if
true.
it would be cool if Valkyrie and Korg came into Avengers Endgame too. That'd be awesome.
I think
Well, we
they'll
know
show up.
Valkyrie is.
Yeah, I think they'll show up. Like, we're here. You know, they just
Hey,
do it.
we're gonna start a revolution.
But
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no one's
When
gonna
they-
top
when
the
they-
dynamic of Thor, Rocket, and Groot.
Oh man, that was so good.
They need a
man,
spin-off.
They do a buddy cop, just kind of them just going out and doing something. I'd be like, I'm in. I'm
It's
in.
like Thor going to Star-Lord, just saying, "Hey, I'm taking your two
Yeah,
teammates.
taking
I'm
these
just
two,
going,
I'm
you
just
know."
gonna go.
Why you
And,
mourn your
know,
girlfriend?
Yeah, and he's like, what? I'm so upset. Don't worry about it. And you just leave. It'll be perfect.
But I know you were saying that you did not, you're not really excited about Captain Marvel, but I am. The original Captain Marvel, Mr. Shazam.
Ah!
So, but
Bringing it back to DC.
before we talk about the trailer that was released, Joe did have an interview with Zachary Levi in New York, talking about Shazam and talking about his diet. So, can we play that?
Many diets,
Oh, man, that was great. That was mind blown. And you look amazing in that suit,
Thanks,
right?
man.
That trailer looked great.
Thanks.
Talk to me. How difficult is it to play that childlike Billy Batson as a grown man with all these powers?
Well, I mean, as a man child, it's kind of second nature. It's actually quite fun to be able to tap into that. I mean, I've always been a pretty, I don't know, exuberant, gregarious. I'm trying to think of other words I don't know the definition to. Person, you know, I've always been a bit of a Peter Pan. I love fun. I love curating fun. I like experiencing fun. And always been a little, led by my emotions here and there, as teens are wont to do. So it was very, I don't know, it was like kind of riding a bike in a lot of ways. However, I'm also, a 38-year-old man and have lived some life, and we tend to, operate very cerebrally the older we get. And so I found myself in a lot of moments, breaking down a scene or the character and go, okay, what would Billy be thinking or doing? And then I started overthinking things, and I thought to myself, well, Billy wouldn't be overthinking this by any stretch. So that was kind of one of the biggest challenges of it. And then obviously, being in the gym 6 days a week and eating 4,000 calories a day, which is probably one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life. You don't realize. I mean, by the way, it's easy to eat 4,000 calories if you're eating cake and ice cream.
Sure. Yeah.
But if you're eating like plain chicken and broccoli and, all of the things that are just not the most, exciting things to eat, it's a difficult thing to put all that in.
You just took the fun out of eating 4,000 calories for me.
Yeah.
So there goes that. I do have to ask about this, though, because this Billy Batson, it seems like it's more reminiscent of the New 52 version that we've been seeing.
100%.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure about that with the Wizard Shazam. Talk to me about the tone on set, because I thought to myself, man, if this is just big as a superhero movie, nailed it. And then you see that trailer, and you're like, nailed it.
Yeah, it's the movie Big meets the movie Superman. I mean, that's basically what it is. And the tone on set was a lot of fun. I mean, it was difficult. We were shooting in Toronto through the wintertime, and the movie is like 75% exterior nights. So it was cold. It was cold a lot. And the suit doesn't really keep me warm in the cold, and it also didn't keep me cool in the soundstage. Like, we'd be inside, and I'd be overheating, and I'd be outside, and I'd be freezing to death. But those are all very small prices to pay to, get to be a superhero.
So that's cool. So how he was talking about how he had to pack on some weight, and he said it's easy when you're eating junk food. Not when you're eating like chicken and salmon and
heavy on the protein and all that stuff.
It's not that easy.
See, my thing is during the interview, but he didn't want to address the fact that he's wearing like that. The bodysuit?
He did. And obviously it's a bodysuit to just kind of enhance it a little bit. But he said, yeah. Well,
it's a lot, but I think it's genius because it kind of goes towards that whole old school kind of feel. Because when you think of Shazam is like he came from Fawcett Comics, and then over here he's that old classic type of hero thing. So you want him to be like exaggerated as far as his body. So that's why when I saw it, I got it immediately, and everybody else was like, "Oh, it's stupid. He can't even."
It's like in the eyes of a child's imagination.
Exactly.
Do you guys remember when Ben Affleck played George Reeves Superman?
Yeah, and it's the same thing. No. And that's what I'm saying. And that's why I love it and I dig it. So it was like, oh, this is great. And I was like, man, if I was him, I know I was wearing a bodysuit. It wouldn't work out at all.
But I mean, even Ben Affleck in Ben Affleck's big.
You love Ben Affleck.
No,
this is like the fourth time you talked about him today.
Who he does love is clearly
Super Chat.
Super Chat.
Toku Kid says, go ahead and say your best friend's Super Chat.
What? Can you guess what Shazam stands for? Love, justice, and the American truth.
No, there's actual,
Oh, like an acronym?
Yeah, it's an acronym.
Oh.
Yeah. Let me see.
Shoddy has a
Shouty.
Shouty has it.
And everybody.
Shouty.
It's an acronym for Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, Mercury, and these are all.
Google that shit. He told you to guess, not
he has all
Google
of
it.
he has all of their powers.
All their powers of these Greek gods.
Toku, thank you for the quiz question. I like those kinds of super chats.
The wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, what's the A one?
Atlas.
Oh, well,
knowledge of the world.
Weird. No, because
I think it's
also strength. So that's why I'm like Hercules and Atlas.
Yeah.
Wait, are his other friends gonna turn into
Yes, I think by the end of this.
Do you think they're gonna have the?
So they've shown we could start talking about the trailer. Okay. They've shown very little. Pretty much all they're showing is
it's
just
like the same footage.
Yeah,
from
it's
the
the same
trailer.
footage.
Yeah.
But they showed a little bit more of Mark Strong's characters and his powers.
Oh yeah.
So
little, nothing groundbreaking.
Yeah, his lightning powers. He can stand up to Shazam.
Same power.
Yeah, but I think the kicker for this movie actually that they're gonna hold pretty close until the movie comes out, or maybe like a week before the movie comes out, is they're gonna have the whole Captain Marvel family. So in this film, he's going to get adopted by a foster family,
right?
And everybody in the family, all of the other foster kids in that family are going to inherit the powers of these gods, Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, and they're all going to get their powers probably by the end of this, maybe.
So they become an amalgamation. That's usually what happens, right? Like all three of them, and they're like, Shazam!
Yeah, or maybe
like
another.
Sailor Moon.
Right.
Okay.
No, Sailor Moon doesn't do that, right? They don't,
no, but I'm saying she had her superpowered friends. Okay.
So did you guys check out the short trailer or this trailer number 2 for this film?
I did.
Yes, sir.
I did. And what's funny was this is set during Christmas, so the director was like, I hope audiences love this enough to make this their Christmas movie.
Christmas, yeah. It's a superhero big movie, and it's going to be...
Okay. I'm down for it. My thing is, after this one, will he still be like dopey Shazam, or will he be that?
He's
going to be like the Ant-Man for DC.
Okay.
But he's always
still be a little bit
yeah.
comic relief.
But Shazam's always been that child.
Well, yeah, cherubic in a way,
right?
Yeah,
you have to keep his youth about him.
Very true, but I mean, when he has all the, I have the wisdom of Solomon, blah blah yada yada. I want him to, at that moment, have that. I want the hood on. I want the glowing eyes, where it's just business. I want that Shazam for a moment, but I don't think we'll get that until we actually get the.
I think you'll get it when it counts.
Well, I think we'll get it when he fights Black Adam. That's what I'm waiting for.
See, that would be another.
The Rock.
Yeah, that would be another.
That's when I want to see it. So until then, I'm happy with hey, I'm the Paul Rudd of DC.
Do you guys like Mark Strong?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I really like
great.
Mark
He's
Strong.
a really good actor.
Dude, I loved him in freaking what is that? The Image comic movie.
Kingsman.
The Kingsman.
Oh man, that was so sad.
And he really didn't do too much of that. I was like, I loved him in that.
Yeah.
So come on, man.
I think he's gonna be a fun villain. The person that I'm really I think he's funny is his best friend.
The kid
from It, yeah.
Oh,
he's so funny. I think he's got a career ahead of him.
He's really gonna help. When they were looking for I'm looking for a lair.
Yeah.
Something on a cliff.
A lair?
He's like a cliff, something like that. I was like, all right, this is good.
Another fun thing would be seeing Shazam interact with the other Justice League members and trying to keep the whole thing that.
Well,
he's a
you're not
child.
gonna see that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, but I'm saying
no, but that's the thing. No, but that's the thing. The film is supposed to be based in that world, and he looks up to them,
sure,
like how a kid looks up to them.
But you're not gonna see a team
but
up
we're
like
not
that.
gonna see it, and that's the thing. It was like, but I think we should at least see him connect with Aquaman and Wonder Woman, because Aquaman and Wonder Woman, it's the Amazons and the Atlanteans. They have the whole thing where they have different gods, but it's really the same gods, it's different names, and we'll get that, I hope. And with that, it's gonna be like, well, here goes the embodiment of most of the gods that you guys are talking about right there. So he just makes sense where they could do that kind of world, and that would be great, and everyone else just do their own thing. Yeah. But I would like those three to interact a lot more. For me, that would be great.
I do like that DC is kind of they're not really hindered by trying to keep all the movies together, continuity wise.
They are kind of hindered by
they are
because they're trying to do it.
But now they're trying
reboot?
to move away from it with the Aquaman and.
With the slight reboot, they're like, we realize we made a mistake. Hey, look over here, and that's it.
I think the mistake they made is they rushed it.
Heck yeah, they did, man. It's just like pretty much Phoenix. I mean, there's
Dark Phoenix.
You didn't set up enough, and then you're just like, hey, they're a team. What? How? What? They don't even know each other.
Why?
Yeah, it's stupid.
If you guys could Shazam into any comic character, who would you Shazam into?
Any comic character.
Ooh.
She's using Shazam as the verb.
Well, if I could
for it.
Shazam into any comic character, I would actually. Funny enough for me, X-Man.
X-Men.
No, which
X-Man.
one?
No,
X-Man.
X-Man.
Nate Gray.
Oh.
Yeah,
Nate Gray.
Nathan Gray. Dude, I have the ability to almost do anything I want. I'm almost Legion to an extent.
Right
now he's back.
It's Cable.
Right now he's back. No, right now he's
this
back in the
question, I don't
comics.
even know.
Right now he's back in the comics, and he's screwing up almost everything because he's like, they woke up the shaman, and I thought he was dead.
How about you?
I know. I was just like, I asked this question. I don't even really know.
I wanna be a god.
Hold on. You go.
I would be.
Right.
Anybody up here? Which one?
I would be. I don't know. I think I'd be the Flash. I feel like
Flash is my favorite hero.
Yeah, I feel like he's pretty powerful. He's
He's definitely my favorite hero, guys.
I would
Run, Barry, run.
probably be. Oh man,
Yeah,
I'd
X-Men,
probably
look at him.
be.
Beautiful. Nick Grayson.
Damn, do
of-
I want to be like a tech geek or do I want to be like super powerful bitch?
One cool.
That's why I chose X-Men, because I'm like, I can do anything.
I think
It's like, yeah, it's
although
great.
my favorite part of the Shazam trailer is when
I
he's
didn't
running
finish
off.
saying what
Running
I
off
wanted
the.
to
You're
be.
still thinking, so I'm gonna like.
He's helping you.
Yeah, when he's
Stretching out.
where he's running off the building and he calls out the name as he's leaping off.
Yeah,
That
like
was dope.
hello, I'm not number one. That's not a good fail. Like, what's the fail safe to that?
Well, if he knows it works, I mean, that's the
Does
thing.
he know it
That's
works?
the-
Or is he being like a 10-year-old idiot?
I feel-
But that's the thing. Once again, he's being a 10-year-old, so it still works and plays the character.
God,
He's a
look at
kid.
that.
He's a kid. Just a shut up when it hits him. But what if he's like? You have to say it with a particular tone. He's like, shut up! It didn't work. And
I feel
that
like
would've been
this.
scary.
Honestly, the way that this is set up, I feel like this is like the end scene. Like
Yeah, because
like,
I think he probably tried it once and he failed.
Yeah, this is like the end scene. This is like what leads to the end credits. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Where he's like, oh, I'm a superhero.
So now I'm a superhero.
Yeah, I'm a
It's,
superhero.
it's his Wonder Woman leap.
Yeah.
That at the end where she goes.
You remember the old Raimi Spider-Man movies where he's jumping off the roof and he's just like
Yeah.
straight falling to the
yeah,
ground?
yeah, yeah.
But one thing I love about this film is like he's not like trying to hide that he's a super. He's like out in the open doing all this random stuff, like
Yeah.
charging people's phones.
Once
or
again,
just like playing with
he's
playing
a
with
kid.
thunder
Yeah.
and you know.
Exactly.
He's a kid, and
Nothing
it does
to
work
hide.
out well.
Doesn't
It
think of the
just-
consequences.
No, he's a 10-year-old, and that's just it. You're gonna see him make choices and do things that a 10-year-old would do, and that works because there are moments where people are gonna be like, "Well, that's stupid," or like, "You're just jumping off a roof and you're just gonna." I'm gonna trust and believe. Well, that's stupid for you, but it's working because he's still a kid. He has that faith. He believes in that way, and that's cool.
Okay,
It works
end
out.
credit scene. What do you think it's going to be?
The Rock.
Which movie do you think it's going to highlight, or what particular character do you think is going to be in it?
I think we actually will get a reference to what happened in Justice League in the film, but I think end credit, it would probably be best. Yeah, that they just make it self-contained, and they just pretty much, hey,
Do
this is what
into
you're gonna be
next
looking forward
movie.
for, and it's
Black
probably
Adam,
the
maybe
Rock.
Black Adam.
Yeah, it's probably
Maybe
at the
even
very
a
end.
maybe a flashback with the original Shazam and Black Adam fighting.
Ooh.
You know, but not
you
Billy
don't think
Batson.
any Wonder Woman or
Not-
Birds of Prey or anything
No,
like
I feel
that?
like
I think they're
no.
gonna try to, in that way, like we said before, DC's figuring out it's time to have us distance ourselves from all the other
But
films.
be loosely connected.
Yeah, so that's why
Loosely
it's like,
connected.
oh, you'll hear reference in the film, but when it comes to what happens at the end, because that's what everyone wants, is it going to happen there? No.
Do you want it
not
to be
gonna
Wonder
happen.
Woman 2 at the end of it?
Well, what if it's Superman who makes an end credits?
Well, Superman,
Appearance.
like everyone.
Don't do your kiss
I
tongue,
would,
please.
I would hate it.
Well, I
I
mean,
would
Why?
hate it. Because
He looks up to
one,
Superman. He's got news
not-
clippings of
He's
Superman.
not going to be in the DC world anymore, isn't he?
That's
gone?
not confirmed.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
I
not
think he's
confirmed yet.
gone.
We
I
know.
think he's
He's also standing for the film. Like he was
Of
on.
course
He's
he
been
is.
on social media.
Of course he
and there was
is.
this whole
Him
like.
and Levi are supposed to be kind of like
done.
buddies. They're almost as close as Jezzer is with Levi.
I also think he has like one more film in his contract,
Yeah.
so that would just like
Ooh.
fulfill it, and then it's done.
Yeah,
true.
and then
one
you
more
know,
appearance.
like even him as Clark Kent, you know, I think that fulfills the contract, and then he can go on to do his little
I don't
Witcher
think.
series.
I think Warner Brothers' contract is different than how Marvel's is. Just because he made a small appearance No, they want you in a feature film.
No,
they're-
that doesn't
they're-
know
they're-
because
they're-
Ben Affleck making
yeah,
that
they're
appearance
counting him in Suicide Squad, yeah.
counted.
Oh, really?
They counted that.
Oh, that's so stupid. That's so stupid.
He was technically
Take
in
your
it.
soul, man.
Yeah.
Let's go
He
with
was
it.
in it for like
Yeah.
3 scenes.
That was.
And they also counted the Flash in that one scene.
Oh
with
yeah,
Captain
you're right.
Boomerang,
That's
yeah.
right. That was a good scene.
Yeah, that was.
That was
It made Captain Boomerang look like an idiot, but whatever.
yeah, well, he is. I mean,
But yeah, so maybe like Clark Kent, because with Aquaman, it mirrored a lot of the Throne of Atlantis, the animated.
Oh yeah,
film.
it did.
So if this is gonna mirror a little bit of that Shazam movie, then maybe Superman makes an appearance with Billy Batson in some way. Maybe Clark
we
Kent.
can have the clash. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love just a mini clash where we get to see them fight for a bit. It would be so amazing.
Mini class.
So I mean, I think it's like, even if it's not gonna be like some great movie. We got another super chat.
Another super
Super
chat.
chat!
You want to take that one?
Yeah, I think maybe
Tucker
the
Kid?
end credits will be Superman, Black Adam, and Shazam.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like
he's
fighting each
saying,
other.
he says, yeah, end credit Superman, OTS.
OTS.
Stop looking down.
At Billy.
That would be the cheapest way to get him out of his contract.
That would.
Quickest,
It's just like
cheapest appearance.
he's just floating over, looking at him like,
He's like, oh, I can leave now. There's some other flying
I can
dude.
go back to being dead now. It's like, I don't know how it's
The
gonna
blur
work.
says maybe it would be Batman. It's not going to be Batman.
it's not.
It's not gonna be
It's not
Batman.
gonna be- nobody even knows who's going to be the Batman in Matt Reeves' film.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Exactly.
something is going
It's
down
gonna
at
be
WB.
Joker. It's gonna Joaquin
Well,
Phoenix at the end, like, oh.
They
what's
were
this
talking
weird?
about
And
they're
then
gonna
the
change.
end,
They're gonna change the title of the movie too. So,
Oh man,
Let's not worry about the time.
script in a better way.
well, I'm excited. I think it's not gonna be like a big movie that people are gonna really go to, but I think they're gonna have.
Shazam?
No, I mean it's gonna be a big movie. But I'm talking about like they're not gonna rate it so high, but I think it's just gonna be a fun movie, a fun, entertaining.
I don't know.
comedy.
I think it looks pretty good from what I've seen.
Oh yeah.
There's definitely gonna be a lot of backlash.
But
on
as
the
we
suit.
know, WB can cut an amazing trailer and then their films are trash.
Yo, like
Like,
literally,
whoever
you can
their
sell
trailer
me a
company
movie, yeah.
is aces because
they're just
You
smart.
can
They're
sell,
smart
you can
people.
sell me on a film,
Yeah.
and they're just like, you came
wait
bought
for the
ticket.
director's cut.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Hashtag release the Snyder cut.
Oh my god.
That is still. I saw that today. I
Oh.
was like, dude, it's been 2 years.
Yeah. P.S. It's not happening.
It's not
You know
coming.
who
It's
has the
not
Snyder
coming.
Cut? Snyder. And I think he's destroyed it. The end. It's not happening, guys.
not coming.
Trust me, I want it, but it's not happening.
But yeah, so I mean, that's everything that we got today. I mean, Shazam's pretty cool. The trailer's pretty cool. I'm excited. Last week the Spider-Man trailer was cool.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
movies coming out. I think superhero movies are in good hands still. I think we're.
Give them
So
the release
far,
date for
yes.
Shazam.
Shazam is on April 5th
Ooh.
of
so
2019.
is it gonna be a Christmas movie?
Probably.
Well,
not.
hey, Iron Man 3 was
When did that
pretty
come
much,
out?
That's
and it
not
came
a-
out in the
yeah,
summer, and it
yeah.
was still a Christmas
But that's
film.
no one's Christmas movie.
So let us know.
Although it was mine because I just saw this.
I was like,
last
I,
Christmas.
I was like, it is one of my Christmas movies. I watch it during
Yeah,
Christmas.
Christmas right there.
Yeah.
He's picking up a
Yeah.
Christmas tree. He's like, oh, I can't lift this tree or take it home to my family. I had turned it to Shazam and.
It
you know,
actually
Right,
looks like
right,
he's
right.
stalking towards somebody.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
he
Christmas
is.
tree.
He
We're gonna
definitely
be
is.
aggressive towards this Christmas tree.
Yeah, but I think
Marshawn's
it's gonna
like,
be
it's
fun.
mine.
I enjoy like the little dynamic that he has with his best friend. Blackwing says Black Panther being nominated for Best Picture thoughts.
Woo.
It was nominated for also.
We had a conversation about that
yeah,
already.
it was also nominated for over at the Golden Globes too.
Yeah, it was.
If we want to talk about pandering to
Yeah.
a crowd,
Yes.
I love Black Panther. It made a lot of cultural
Let's see if she said the
significance.
same thing I say. Okay, go ahead.
But
Listen.
the fact that it wasn't nominated for any of the other major categories, when at least it should have got
Design?
Best Director. No, that's not a major category. Best Director and Best Supporting Actor for Michael B. Jordan tells me this was just like a bullshit nomination.
Yeah.
For me, I agree. I agree. It's a empty It's an empty nomination, and unfortunately, it sucks because what you're doing is. Like Kanye says on a song where he says,
gonna quote Kanye?
let's bring out our token blackie. You know, it's that whole thing where it's like, okay, that's literally what you're doing. Let's bring it up and say, hey, we have something. There you guys go.
Yeah.
So the Oscars aren't so white anymore, guys. But we're not gonna win. So the thing is, it's like, well, why would you even do that? Now it's just a waste of anything that the film could do. And yeah, I agree with Jezzer in some points. Give us the other parts. Give us wardrobe. Give us costume.
Well, they
give
do
us makeup.
have Ruth Wilson
You
was
know?
nominated
Yes,
for costume.
Exactly.
They got production design. They got VFX.
Exactly. Give us those because I
And
know
best
that that's
original
going to
song.
win.
But
and
another-
they could do screenplay or
I don't think it was
adapted
nominated
screenplay.
for
No, but that's the
screenplay.
thing. It should go for adapted screenplay or once again director. That would be great. But don't give the film and say the film was. I liked Black Panther, but I can't say it was like the best film.
But I'm rooting for Into the Spider-Verse to win the Best Animated for
It better.
It better because it's a great film. Have you seen it yet?
No, I'm going to see it tomorrow.
It's so good.
You're gonna enjoy it.
It's so
You're
good.
gonna enjoy
I'm gonna
it.
see it
And then you're gonna want to
tomorrow.
play the
And
game.
Yeah.
You're gonna turn on.
I'm playing Life is Strange right now.
Ooh,
and Lego
2 or
Harry
1?
Potter. 1.
Oh.
I'm on episode 4.
Okay.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining us on Superhero News Network.
Well, we're going to talk more about the Oscar nominations on Saturday.
Yes.
So we'll get into
Box
that
office
and why I
showdown.
don't think A Star is Born is going to win, and I'll tell you my thoughts then.
Oh boy.
So please come back, and we're going to get really into
Yeah.
these Oscar
Down and
nominations.
dirty.
Every second,
talk
every
here.
category and everything.
Yeah.
So check us out on the Box Office Showdown on Saturday. But Migdalia, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm like, what am I on? On Twitter and Twitch at Miggy Spicy. That's MIGGYSPICY.
Daniel?
Down there.
You can find me on Instagram at Battlestar Galactica, on Twitter at that #BSG.
You can find me on all social media at Jezzer Zeus. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for joining us on your Thursday night. And remember, if you guys have any other friends or families that like this type of content, share it out. Share it out. We love seeing new faces. We love creating this huge community of
Yeah, don't keep it to yourself, man.
hashtaggers,
Tell your friends about it. Trust me, it's
Yes.
gonna be great that way.
So you guys, thank you so much. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to keep up to date with everything trending
In
In
geek
geek
pop
pop
culture.
Good night.
Doo-doo.